Hi everyone, Dr. Paul Robinson from Hair Transplants Melbourne. A lot of people who are considering a hair transplant would be investigating the best place to have that transplant done. Let me explain to you why I think Hair Transplants Melbourne has a very solid offering that will give you a really natural, believable result for your hair transplant. Firstly, we have a really long pedigree of training at Hair Transplants Melbourne. Dr. Paul Spano was the lead hair transplant doctor here, and he was taught by the great Dr. Richard Shield, one of the forefathers, the kind of frontier doctors in hair transplant surgery over the 80s, 90s and 2000s. And Dr. Spano has then trained me and passed his knowledge on to me as a protege, if you like. So we have a very long pedigree of decades of history in hair transplant procedures. And that's important because there are a lot of things that can happen in a transplant. We always like to say you never really know how a transplant's going to go until you're in there doing the procedure. And the ability to pivot between different approaches is important. And I think that experience allows you to make those pivots more easily and more effectively and giving the patient a really great result at the end. One of the other things that's important at Hair Transplants Melbourne is that we have a team of people, all of whom have been involved in the hair transplant industry for decades. We have nearly 100 years of combined experience within our team in doing hair transplant procedures. So there's hardly a complication, hardly an issue, hardly an outcome that we have not seen as a team. And we bring that experience to bear for your transplant. So you're in very good hands. Our aftercare is really superior. Even from first point of contact, we handhold our patients a lot. We're a boutique clinic. We're a very small clinic. We're not a chain. We do one transplant a day. You are our sole patient for that day. This clinic is yours for the day. You have our attention for the day. So from initial email contact to consultation to transplant day to then aftercare follow-up. We follow our patients closely. We offer them superior aftercare, unlimited LED light therapy to help kick the transplanted hair along, unlimited reviews with one of the doctors as and if required after your transplant. We also have a broad spectrum of auxiliary services at Hair Transplants Melbourne. Not everyone is appropriate for a hair transplant, so we can institute lots of non-surgical or medical options for people who want to thicken their hair, all the way from PRP to Exosomes to Regenera stem cell therapies. We have a broad selection of different choices for patients. One of the other things that's important at Hair Transplants Melbourne is every transplant is bespoke to the patient that is in front of us. We design your hairline. We match the fall of each of the individual hairs on your hairline to give you the most natural, believable result. We don't use robots. Robot technology in the next 10, 20, 30 years might be great for hair transplants, but at the moment it's not up to scratch. All studies show that when a transplant is in the hands of an experienced hair transplant doctor, the outcomes are better than when they are in the hands of a robot, even if a human being is overseeing the procedure that robot is performing. So look, there's a lot of reasons why you should consider Hair Transplants Melbourne for your hair transplant procedure. We always like to acknowledge that, look, hair transplants are expensive, particularly when they are done in a Western country with Western standards, Western sterilisation standards, such as Australia. But there are reasons why it is so expensive. A transplant is a hell of a lot of work. It is a hell of a lot of painstakingly difficult, challenging work that requires a great deal of finesse. And that's why it takes so long. It takes many hours to perform a transplant. We usually will start at about 7:15 in the morning, and we're usually not done much before 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes it goes a bit longer than that. But at Hair Transplants Melbourne, we don't really chase the clock, we chase the result. That's really what we care about. And we have thousands of patients that have had great outcomes from their hair transplant. So I encourage you to come to the clinic, send us an email, send us in some photos. We can give you a roundabout kind of ballpark quote as to what you might be looking at. And then if that is appealing to you and you're looking at Hair Transplants Melbourne and our values and our approach resonate with you, then please call our wonderful admin staff. Margaret, my practice manager, is excellent. She'll take good care of you. Either Dr. Spano or myself will see you for a consult, and then we can discuss your many options with you. Most of our consults go for about an hour. So it's a long consult that gives you ample opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. So look, thanks for your time, everyone, and I look forward to meeting you soon.